Happy Friday, everybody.
Hey, Jason, it's Friday.
And it's your birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Now I feel kind of bashful, actually. I was kind of hoping you wouldn't mention that on like a social media site for everybody to know, but
And speaking of art, that's pretty artistic, eh?
that's really thoughtful and very kind and appreciated. So thank you. Yes, it's Friday, May 15th, my day of birth. And it's going into the long weekend, which will be a kind of different weekend, but I think the sun will be shining and some warm temperatures, I think are in store for us. So it's going to be just a different, but we're going to make it enjoyable weekend.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know why I'm looking forward to it because my life's not going to change a whole lot, but I'm ready for a long weekend.
Yeah, I think just ready for some opportunity to rest and rejuvenate, right? And just get recharged. That's what I'm looking forward to. So
Me too. So our journey in art this week, I've been working on my journal.
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Did a few more things to think about being grateful for. So I filled up my tree, which is good.
Excellent. Yeah, that gratitude, right? That's an everyday, I think, intention that we need to make. And the more we do that, the better we're going to feel.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, so as Jason said, we've had a week of art. We were sort of celebrating Kathy Malchiotti and what would have been our week of training. And we would have just come through the week having done like 5 days of art-based learning, which would have been amazing. And we tried to share a little bit of our art with you guys every day this week. And so we thought today we would end the week with showing you something else that you could try. And it's art incorporating feelings is basically what today is about. And so in this case, we're going to set sort of an intention in our art, which is going to be to focusing on feelings. And so how it works is you would take a piece of white paper, like what I'm showing you now. Doesn't have to be big. I have quite large paper, but it could be smaller. And unless you had 4 little small pieces, but you're going to fold your paper in half. You're going to make 4 quadrants to your paper. So you're going to fold it so that you end up with, when you open it, you're going to have 4 individual spaces on your page. Exactly. Okay. So we are going to focus on feelings and thinking about how you're feeling at this moment, or perhaps thinking about how you might have felt at some point this week. And what I would like you to do is you're going to fill each of these spaces with a distinct feeling. Now, it could be very distinct feelings. It could be similar feelings. When I talk about feelings, I know, Jason, you do this too, when we were in the school supporting our students, I'll often categorize feelings as kind of those pleasant feelings versus what would be more uncomfortable. So an uncomfortable feeling might be sadness, jealousy, anger, anxiety, like being anxious, whereas pleasant could be more of those warm kinds of feelings that we have, right? Happiness, joy, gratitude, love. Anyways, you're going to think of 4 feelings that you've had this week, and you're going to write them on each individual feeling, which will be 4 of them, in the 4 different squares. I'd like you to make them quite large. Yes, except I almost want you to make them bigger, Jason, because if I'm going to show you mine, because you want them to really fill the space, because we want to create different shapes. So I apologize, I should have given you the instructions sooner, or you should have waited actually until I gave you the instructions. Maybe. We just go with it here. So I'd like you to make the words in black, preferably crayon, just because I use watercolor, but you could do it with whatever. So I use the word or the feelings joy, gratitude, love, and hope. And
I like that.
Yes. Because you've made them large, when they join each other, they're actually creating kind of almost like a different shape or a different space. Oh, right. And you're going to then the spaces in between are actually, I think they can be called negative spaces, and you're actually going to then color those spaces or paint, whichever, with colors that actually represent the feeling. So when I think about feeling joy, these are colors that I often associate with that. And I would do the same for each of my different feelings that I've identified. And it actually creates kind of a beautiful, almost like a stained glass sort of mosaic looking kind of art.
Right.
The wax crayon resists the watercolor, so then you can still see it through, but you could improvise and do this with whatever medium you had available. And so then I guess really to be thinking about the colors and how using color with feeling helps you to visualize actually feelings in a different way, whether through a pattern or a color. And it can just be a really satisfying way of sort of expressing your feelings, expressing feelings through color, and actually even noticing, especially if you did, you know, different feelings, how maybe some of those more uncomfortable feelings you radiate towards different colors versus the more pleasurable feelings.
So
Yeah.
pastel and paint don't really work good together.
Well, you know, you do what you have, and ultimately
Yeah.
it still looks beautiful, right? Like, I think it's just whatever you take from it, but it's more about just the process of visualizing feelings through color and shape.
Well, and I guess I like the idea is that's pretty simple, and I could put that on my fridge, right?
Mm-hmm.
All weekend I could spend time thinking about, not even thinking about, just simply noticing it and reflect, you know, and reminding myself that I should be in that kind of perspective. That's a great idea.
I love you saying noticing, because I think sometimes we don't always really notice how we're feeling. Like if we're really intentionally like reflecting on our feelings, it can really help us a lot than just sort of going through the day without really noticing how we
Well,
feel.
sad, mad, you know, those feelings are pretty easy to recognize, but hope, how is that a feeling, right? You know, how do I recognize hope and even joy, right? How do I
Yeah.
that? So
And I
yeah,
think you're going to discover that through your gratitude journal, right? Like the more that we are really intentionally focusing on feelings of thankfulness, we're going to uncover and discover those feelings in ourselves. And I think if we can shift our thinking, yes, we will have those days of uncomfortable feelings. We don't always feel happy. We're not always feeling grateful. Sometimes we are anxious, overwhelmed, sad, angry, jealous of, you know, we have those feelings, and that's okay. Recognizing them, working through them, and then, you know, trying to ourselves towards those more, you know, pleasurable feelings or pleasurable thoughts, I think will help us get through the times that are more difficult.
So I have a quote for the day.
Oh, I love it.
Our mentor, Kathy Macchiotti, who we hope is going to join us, was not able to join us this week because she's involved in this online conference or training, I don't know, in the States, and she's with all the big guys in trauma, like every, you know,
Yeah.
Vander Vessel, the body holds the score. What's his name?
Yep. Oh,
Vander, whatever. The big
I
guys.
know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I have birthday brain. I'm just thinking about other things. I can't like.
I have weekend brain. But Kathy Macchiotti, you know, there in this conference, she texted, or she put on her Facebook a quote that she today, after listening and being a part of all the presentations of all these experts all week, this is her quote about our recovery. Imagination is central to recovery.
Yeah.
And I love that because, like, personally, we could talk about creativity and imagination and how that is sort of a central nerve in our system and blah, 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 blah. I could go on for days. But as we start to think about recovery and opening up even this weekend,
Right.
imagination, where's our imagination in all that? And I think that's a good quote. I'm going to put that up beside my words and my journal, and I'm going to be like, whoa, blown away this weekend.
Yeah, imagination sparks creativity too, right? We have to be hopeful for what can be and I think we, right now, like you said, with things starting to open up, and again, we just have lots of changes and lots of shifting in our world. And I think we are all imagining what could be and hopeful for our future, and hopeful that we will, you know, get through this together and come out the other side.
So everyone should still kind of stay home and be safe, right?
Yeah.
Practice social distancing, wash your hands.
Yeah.
It's a long weekend. We got some art projects that you can play around with. As you stay home, if you do venture out, you got to remember to be safe and to take care of yourself, but also that takes care of other people.
Yeah.
And we got to enjoy the opening up in a safe manner, though, don't we?
Yeah, in a really, like, I think, slow, controlled, safe way, listening to what public health is asking of us, and so that we don't forget those very important things that you've just mentioned.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
You too. Bye, everybody. See you Tuesday.
And happy birthday. And I hope you have
Thank
a
you.
wonderful socially distanced party.
Yeah, it's going to be socially and physically distant, but you know what? It's going to be okay.
It is going to be okay.
It's going to be okay. All right. Bye, everybody.